Welcome to the Sunset Safari. You forgive my giggling. Jandre was warming up the tripod, which is quite a aggressive movement, and those impala suddenly took a liking to it, and they've been staring at Jandre ever since. My name's Brent, and welcome to the middle of the African bush. Very exciting news. We have a new interviewee trying out, and she's going to be on Wendy, and her name is Tayla, so she'll be coming through to say hello shortly. And of course, I have the long-haired, smelly ruffian Jandre on camera. There we go, there he is. And Dave is out with Tayla, and of course, Final Control. I think today is Chelsea and Rebecca. So our plan is we're going to start heading towards the east. I still haven't seen those Styx cubs, and I'm hoping they've headed through to a 3-in-a-row pan for a little drink of water. And it is a beautiful day. It's cleared up, the clouds broken up. So I'm very excited and happy to have you on this live African safari. And if you want to ask me any questions, you can email me questions at wildearth.tv or use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. So we had no sign of any Karula tracks this morning. We checked this area, but we know Queen Karula, she likes to walk around during the day. So I just thought on our way down towards Cheetah Plains, we'll have a quick look and see if we can find any tracks. And good news as well, I know a lot of you have been asking about my trail cameras, and I was a bit nervous to set them out due to spotted hyenas, but I've now got some steel casing. If a hyena really wanted to, he could chew through this, but I'm hoping that it'll just make it that little bit more difficult, so they might just give up. Now, the other problem with trail cameras, believe it or not, is elephants who tend to like to play with them. So a good trick is always wipe some elephant dung on them, and sometimes helps to stop the ellies picking them up and playing with them. Time to put my hat on. It's quite bright this afternoon, but I must say I'm quite enjoying the sunshine after the chilly morning. I wonder where all the elephants are. I am hoping if the lions are not around, that the elephants might be at 3-in-a-row pan. Sorry, I've made a huge faux pas. It is Tayla, not Tayla. Sorry about that. So, well, without further ado, let's go meet Tayla.
Hello everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's Sunset Drive with Safari Live. Some of you may have seen me earlier this morning. I was dangling off the back of Jamie's vehicle. I think you thought I was someone else, but my name is Tayla, and I'm here for an interview. So we're going to see how this goes this afternoon. Sorry, I've got a bit of an issue with my earpiece. Seems to be wiggling out my ear. However, you won't believe it, they've just equipped these vehicles with a new navigation system, and coincidentally, the voice on this one sounds like Jamie. So she's going to be on board, making sure that I don't get into too much trouble. Don't go on.
She gets into plenty of trouble.
So I'm not too new to this industry. I've been guiding for a few years now, and I'm sure you've probably got loads of questions for me. So if you'd like to pop me any questions, you're more than welcome to either do so via Twitter. You can just hashtag Safari Live with your questions, or otherwise you could also send us an email, and that's questions at wildearth.tv. So my earpiece keeps popping out. I'm not used to these things anymore. So basically this afternoon, I'm very new to this area. I've been working down in the southwestern sector of the Sabi Sand, so quite different up here. But Jamie's going to help me head down towards one of the watering holes, and we're going to see what's happened. It's warmed up quite nicely. The clouds seem to be moving off. The wind is picking up a little bit. Maybe we get lucky, maybe some elephants come down to drink, maybe a buffalo or two wallowing around. And that's sort of the plan for this afternoon. Maybe as the sun starts to set, we'll head on over to where we had Shadow Street, who is a leopard I've heard lots about, but I'd love to get the opportunity to see her and her cub. So Jamie's going to direct me now towards this watering hole. And yeah, it's a really beautiful day today. Hello everybody. Come on, send some questions. Otherwise I'll go on and on and on about myself, and you might get a bit bored with that. Hello Valeria. So I'm not sure if you're a regular viewer or not. So I'm sure you've seen, probably if you're lucky, you've seen quite a few different presenters. One of my favorite bush experiences is probably watching an elephant cow give birth. It was really an amazing moment. It was a little bit traumatic at the same time. Unfortunately, the elephant was stillborn, so it didn't make it. But the whole interaction with the herd and how they came around to try and help and try and get this little one to stand up before they realized that it unfortunately wasn't alive was incredible. It brought tears to everybody's eyes on the vehicle. And I've never really been able to experience something like that again, and I don't think many people can say that they've seen something like that. So pretty much anything to do with elephants, I've had great experiences with them, and that's probably my favorite. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to carry on making our way towards this dam. We've still got quite a bit of a drive to do. Hopefully when we get there we'll see something great. We're going to switch back over to Brent and see if he's managed to pick up anything else on Karula. Enjoy.
Unfortunately, no sign, or fresh sign, should I say, of the Queen. Only the tracks from yesterday. So we're going to start making our way to the east. And now the jackalberry is busy fruiting at the moment, so it's always a good spot to stop. And this morning we had green pigeons and grey go-away birds. And today I only see a single grey go-away bird. Oh dear. But the one thing I actually think on my way back this evening, I might set up a trail camera around this tree, because lots of different species like civet, jackal, sometimes even leopard and hyena might eat the fruits of the jackalberry. There's the great go-away bird. Oh, sorry, Chandra. Being naughty and not watching my monitor. There you go, beautiful, big, old African ebony. Definitely over 500 years old, that particular one. Let's see if this one's fruiting as well, because this would be a great place to put a trail camera, because there's another smaller tree we could attach it to. This one doesn't look to be fruiting. Interesting. So we're going to have to make a plan when we come back a bit later. Who knows, maybe we'll catch Queen Karula on a camera trap. Difficult. I'm trying to see. Oh, it moved, but do you see it? Orange-breasted bushshrike. Let's just try to sneak a bit further forward. Incredibly beautiful bird. Oh, no, that's not it. And I'd really, really like to show you. It is magnificent. One of the harder birds to get on camera. The bushshrikes are true skulkers as they move through the. Okay. Oh, just to jump behind the branch on that one there. It's about there. It's hopping around in that thicket. I'm hoping it's gone up a bit. You got it in there?
Yeah.
There. So let's hope it jumps out and gives us a good show of its gorgeous colours. Oh, flies away. Oh, you still got him there? Let's go forward a little bit or back. Okay, let's go back a bit. This bushshrike is giving us some it is escaped. But I just got a lovely message from Mia. Hi, Mia. Mia's 3 years old, and she says she's very happy I'm back, and she's missed me on the screen, and wants to know if I'm happy to be back, and did I miss them. Mia, of course I missed everyone, you especially. Thanks for joining us on the safari, Mia. And it is great to be back, and I'm so happy to be taking you guys out on drive. So Mia, why don't you let me know what you want to see today? Let me know and we'll see if we can find it for you. Okay, now hopefully we do get another chance at one of those bush shrikes. They are incredibly beautiful birds. Two main species we get here is the orange-breasted and the grey-headed. Grey-headed, and strangely enough, both of them have grey heads and orange breasts. The grey-headed is quite a lot bigger though. Always a good spot to check for Karula. Alas, no tricks. No, those are hyena tracks. Okay, now this area, we have seen Karula in quite a few times recently, but it's quite close to the boundary with Tandi, so her daughter, who's a little bit further to the east. Now, one hopes that soon we'll get the opportunity to see Tandi's cub. That cub can't be more than a month old at the moment. I haven't heard if she's moved the den site from underneath the Chipa Room 9 deck. It'll be interesting to see whether she might possibly move a little bit further east into Torchwood, or northeast into Torchwood. Or will she go south towards Malamala? We'll have to wait and find out. Even better it would be if she moved it into the little river system around Cheetah Plains Lodge. That would be wonderful for us. What was that through there? Just saw a little bit of movement. There we go. It's a zebra hiding in the bush there, and looks like some impala behind them. Here we go. Hello, zebra. You can see that little shimmering action to try to keep the flies at bay. It's a little nerve reaction, almost like a tick. You'll notice a lot of the animals do that to try to keep the stable flies away. Now, stable flies are the most common biting fly we get here in the Sabi Sands. And not only do they sometimes attack the zebras, the lions and the leopards, they occasionally attack cameramen and presenters too. Violent little bloodsuckers. So it looks like all the lions from Juma, the Kahumas, Birminghams, have gone north to feast on that elephant that died. So that's not great news for us, but it seems fortunately the sticks have answered our call and have popped out down the Cheetah Plains. So I'm really hoping they've finished the kill down there, but 3 in a row pan or Cheetah Plains pan are quite close. So I'm thinking after that full belly, being quite cool today, I'm hoping they've moved towards one of those 2 water holes. And I'm quite excited. I've never seen the Styx cubs, and fingers crossed they're around. This little road up ahead here on the right is sort of the unofficial boundary between Karula being this side and Tandi being that side. And very similar to what Impala Plains is between Shadow and Karula. Now, of course, we do seem to see Tandi quite often as we drive down to Cheetah Plains around the Moanini drainage. And speaking of the Mulwanini drainage, we're about to go into it, so it is a spot excuse me, where we sometimes do lose signal, but you'll stay with me as we have a peer over the edge, see if there's interesting up ahead. So we're going to dip down into the Mulwanini River, and we're going to lose you for a few seconds. So while we do that, let's go back to Tayla, who's got a great grey amphibious beast.
So I believe that Brent hasn't had much luck with Karula's tracks, and I eventually made my way over to this dam. It did take us a while, I'm not driving very fast today, and we came across a lovely hippo bull wallowing in the water. As you can see, he's got 2 blacksmith lapwings as companions, and unfortunately this is actually a natural watering hole. It is man-made, however the water that's been captured here is natural, and it's now not so much a dam anymore, it's become a pan, and it's very, very sad that all this water is drying up so early in the year already. But lucky for this hippo, if he gets out early enough, he might be able to trek and look for a little bit of grass. And it's actually not uncommon now, especially in the last few days that we've had of the cooler weather, to actually see hippos up and moving around, which is quite nice to see. That's probably one of the biggest requests we as field guides have, is can we see a hippo out of the water? And in the summer months it's a little bit more difficult, but in winter it seems to be much more of a better opportunity to see this. So I reckon if you had to hang around with this hippo for a few hours, I think he'd come out when he felt comfortable and wandered around. There you go, doing a little move around there. Hello James Richard, a warm welcome to you. That's a very common question that we are asked in this industry. I've been very fortunate to grow up in South Africa, and I have to say thank you very much to my family, because the holidays that I've always done are safari holidays. And since I was a young lass, I've been heading out to safaris, mainly in Kruger, so that if I started crying, it didn't bother anybody else because we were in my parents' car. I just annoyed them. And as I started to get older and behaved a little bit better, we then started to go through to private game reserves throughout South Africa. So I'm originally from the Eastern Cape, from Port Elizabeth actually, which is about a 9-hour drive east of Cape Town. It's a little coastal city, and there's some really, really wonderful private game reserves out in that area. So I've been heading in that sort of bush direction for a while, and I kind of expected to go into it. And when end of high school came, I'll actually tell you a funny story quickly. While in high school, my mom bought me a book. It was called Back to the Bush, and I'm pretty sure if any of you know who Mr. James is, he actually wrote that book, and he was one of my inspirations to get into this industry. He made it seem so fun and amazing. And so after school, wanted to go to Australia to study equine dentistry, to be a horse dentist, grown up with horses my whole life. And then I just remembered, you know what, that's actually not for me. I'm not a city girl. I like the bush. So I had an opportunity to go and study at one of these environmental training centers. Went and did that, and fortunately did okay, got a job, and then started from there. So and I thought, oh Dad, you know, I'll just do this for a few years just to make a bit of money, and then I'll go back to Australia and go and study. Well, it's 5 years later and I'm still here, and I have no regret and no desire to go and work anywhere else but in the bush. So I hope that answers your question, James. But yeah, that's really good. The bush life is lots of fun. It's not for everybody. The thing about this job is that it's a lifestyle. You tend to move away from your home. You miss out on family occasions and weddings and holidays and things like that. But to do what I do is pretty amazing. So it looks like this hippo is just following around for the moment. You can see a a few wet marks, so like we saw earlier, he moved a little bit. He'll probably just keep rolling around just to keep himself nice and moist. Unfortunately, there's not enough water to ideally cover him, which he would prefer. So they are quite susceptible to sunburn, but the mud helps protect them from that. And I'm sure it's been mentioned before, but they have a secretion that they secrete, which is often known as blood sweat or hyposudic acid. And that actually contains a mild sunblock, and also an antiseptic. So that helps them keep nice and cool. But you'll see him every now and then. He'll sort of stand up, move around, do a roll over. If you're lucky, you might see him do a complete roll, which is quite rare to see. And he'll just happily lay here until he decides to jump out and go and get something to eat. Hello, Val. So I started off in the Eastern Cape, like I said, at 19, very young. And I worked there for a few years in a really wonderful private game reserve. After that, I had an opportunity to move to Zambia, where I did a short stint in management. But I decided that I didn't like the paperwork that came with management. And to me, it was just an office job in the bush. So you got taunted by all the wonderful elephants and lions and things that would come up and around you, but you were never really able to go out and experience it. And I was very jealous of all the guides that would come back and say, oh, you won't believe what we saw. We watched the leopard killing an impala and taking it up a tree. And I thought, management's just not for me. Let's head back to South Africa. And that's where I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity down in the southwestern corner of the Sabi Sands, where I've been based for the last year, and it's incredible. The Sands is probably the most amazing place. The wildlife is so diverse, and with the plant species, the birds. It's just amazing. It's like something I've never really experienced before. And the predator density, the leopards, the lions, the hyenas. I don't even need to go on about this. You guys watch this show every single day. For instance, those lion cubs this morning. That was amazing. I don't know when I last saw 8 lion cubs together. That was really, really, really special. So those are the areas that I've worked in. I hope to stay in the Sands. I have no intention of leaving just yet. So we'll see where the road takes me next. Angie from Ohio, goodness gracious, you're a long way away from us. Hello. So, as you know, the leopards and the lions of the Sabi Sands are probably the most famous animals in the world. They've all even got their own Facebook pages for the new viewers that didn't know that. So we were very fortunate. We see quite a few different species or different individual leopards. Quite a well-known male leopard that everybody might know, Mashabeni, or it's spelt Maxabeni if you've just maybe seen the spelling. So he's our resident leopard in the northern sector of the reserve. And then we've got obviously quite a few females that we see, from Little Bush to her daughter Kaigelia, from Lisbon, Queen of the South, who's my absolute favorite leopard. We've also got Kalenge. We see warthog wallow, and quite a few other species, other individual leopards too. Occasionally we see Matlatin, one of the other males, but he sort of tends to have his territory a little bit further south. That's really, really all that can come to mind. The butterflies in my stomach are fluttering away, so I see I'm forgetting every now and then a few of the animals that I see every day. So hopefully they'll settle down later on in the drive, and I'll be able to carry on with a few other names. But thanks for that question, Angie. That's nice, and I hope some of those names seem familiar to you. Otherwise, go and have a look at them. Some really beautiful leopards. So I think what we're going to do now is fantastic. So we're going to carry on down the eastern boundary. We're going to take a little bumble. Like Jamie said, let's go on an adventure. I don't know the property very well, so I'm keen to just take a little bumble. I'd be so excited if I can see some elephants, which are my favorite animal. And we're going to head back over to Brent and see what happens and now that he's arrived safely on Cheetah Plains. So see you in a bit.
I'm just having a look. I saw some tracks here, and I wasn't sure for a second. Looked like a male leopard. So there's some male leopard tracks here. Oh, that's very loud. Let's turn that one down. And they look quite fresh, so from during the day on top of the vehicles from this morning, heading towards 3 in a row pan. I wonder, is Mr. Q around? One of my favorites. So as we know with Mr. Q, always check the termite line. Sorry, I missed that update. Sounded like they might have found quarantine, unfortunately, just to the north of us. So this is definitely, pretty sure these are his tracks here. And they're very fresh. Peter. I'll try again just now when we get a bit closer. Tracks seem to have left. Could have got to the north, but anyway, maybe he'll come down to 3 in a row pan. It's one of the nice things about the dry season is there's not many options where you can drink. So fingers crossed, the lions might be at 3 in a row pan with the leopard. You never know. Peter. Peter, what do you have there? Okay, copy, thanks. Tracks of a male leopard cross into your side just before Jacobin Camp from Egway Road. Okay, so just to let you know, there's a Birmingham boy who's got his own buffalo down there. So I wonder if the sticks are not going to go join him. Hopefully they haven't made it there yet. So only one male lion. So we might do a loop back to see if we can find Mr. Q a little later. But let's just go check if these lions have come for a drink 3 in a row pan. Now, as I approach 3 in a row pan, I always get a little bit excited, especially because of quarantine, the male leopard, and it always pays to actually look in the trees. What did you see? Oh, I thought Jandre had spotted him. Wouldn't that be nice, Jandre? So last time we actually saw, oh no, not the last time, one of the last times we saw Mr. Q, Jandre actually spotted him direct way up in a tree. And always worth having a good look in the trees and termite mounds around here. I do love young male leopards. They're such good quality viewing. Always up to something. Hello, Jerry Connor. Jerry Connor would like to know, do we go onto daylight saving times during our different seasons? We don't, so we're quite lucky. It's pretty much the same for most of the year, not too much different, so no need for us to go onto daylight saving out here. I do see a fawn-coloured creature up ahead, but it is not a lion. It is an impala. Oh, but it looks like 3 in a row pan is dried up since I was last year. So maybe those lions might have moved towards Cheetah Plains pan. Oh no, there's some water on that side. Okay. Now it's time to start checking carefully for lion tracks. More leopard tracks. Careful Impala. Mr. Q might be around the corner. Okay. Doesn't look like they came up here. So I'm going to head back to where Jamie last had them this morning. Jandre, you were with Jamie? So you know where they were? There we go. There we go. Just down from 3 in a row pad. Oof, sun disappeared, got a little chilly there. Nope. Oh, let's hope they haven't headed back to the west. No sign of any tracks yet. Jandre, were they east or west of this junction? To the east, okay. Well, then there's a good chance, if they haven't gone to 3 in a row pan, they might have gone to Cheetah Plains pan. There's very little water to the south. Hi Jennifer. Jennifer said she thought the 3 in a row pan was pumped. And which other pans are? It is, Jennifer, but they alternate pumping it with Cheetah Plains pan. So they'll either pump one or the other, not both at the same time normally. And then they'll let it dry out naturally and then pump to another thing. It's to try to keep the animals not constantly staying in one spot. It's to make them move so they don't decimate the area around that pan. Now, lots of elephant tracks, so it's always possible the lions might have been chased away by the ellies. Okay. Kitty, kitty, kitties, where art thou? So we're very close to where they were. Now, of course, lions are being lazy creatures, so to speak. Or let's not say lazy, let's say lions being creatures that conserve energy. They might just be sleeping in the same spot. Here we go, we're on the southern boundary of Cheetah Plains. We are going east. Well, Mia, who's 3 years old, and I asked Mia what did she want to see on drive today, and Mia said she'd be really happy to see some ellies. Well, Mia, it seems like you must have the best luck in the world, because as I got your question, there are elephants in front of me. Oh, I see a vulture on the ground beyond the ellies, so I'm presuming that's where the lions were. Yes, Jandre is nodding his head vigorously. Hello, elephants. So there's a little breeding herd of ellies here, just for Mia. Now, I wonder if these elephants have chased the lions. So there we go. Hello, little one. Okay. So just up, there we go. Got the ellies over here. still see there's quite a few ellies. There's some more in the bush behind us. There we go. There's 3 bottoms in a row. Now the wind is coming from the east, and that vulture is sitting on the ground, but it's not going into the bush. So I wonder, have the lions been lazy? And are they still lying there, and that's why the vulture's sitting at bay? Well, let's go have a quick look. We can pop back to Mere's eddies in a second. Now, with the wind coming from that way, it's possible that the elephants didn't smell the lions. Oh, no. Oh, lots of vultures. And, oh, that is not the most graceful landing, little hooded vulture. Shame. And they have been doing their job very much so. I don't see any. I don't see which way the lions went from here. But they have literally, absolutely. What was it? A kudu. They have literally, absolutely decimated between the vultures. There we go, and everything else. Oh. Let's hope I don't have a growling bush. But we can see here, there's almost nothing left. I just want to have a look for tracks here. You can see there's just 1, 2, 3, 4 legs, the rib cage, and the pelvis. Now these lions must have been seriously hungry. Because, and the vultures have been hungry. There's almost just only sinew left on this. You see that? Just that really tough sinew. I mean, you can see I can't even pull it off. It smells fresh. How's that? Not an unpleasant smell. It's the smell of meat. Now, which way did the lions go? Let's have a quick look on the road here. Is it? But the problem is these tracks, there could be tracks all over the place. And so the ellies around, so the ellies might have traced them.
Audio.
Let's keep checking towards Cheetah Plains Pan. There's tracks going in all directions. I can see the cub tracks here. What up, what up, what up? But those tracks are being driven on. Time to work out the puzzle. But before we rush off in search of the lions, we mustn't forget to enjoy what is here. So let's just go back a bit. No, those lion tracks. Why are you going that way? That's not very nice. Here we go. So our bird was saying the hyenas haven't found it yet. No, they haven't. And even for a hyena, it's quite slim pickings what's left of that kudu. Maybe the leg bones. There we go. Nice big ellie cow and some youngsters. Munching away. Now, who can remember how much an adult bull elephant can eat in a day? So, if you know how much food an adult bull elephant can eat in a day, let me know. Just pop me an email, questions@wildearth.tv, or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Sorry guys, I'm just going to keep quiet. I thought I heard an alarm call. Yes, okay, I've got some alarm calls up ahead. Sound quite far. Sounds like it could be on that the big open area at Cheetah Plains. So maybe there might even be cheetah today. Just hear a kudu barking. Bah! Bah! It could, of course, be the lions. Just trying to make sure they just haven't moved off. I'm looking for big fat bellies sleeping somewhere. So while we zoot off to see what that kudu is alarm calling at, let's see how Tayla's faring back on Juma.
So, I wonder, has anybody got the elephant question right yet? So how much does an elephant bull eat on a daily basis? Come on, guys. I'm sure there's a few of you that must have heard the answer to that a few times. Speaking of elephants, we've been trailing a big elephant bull's tracks for probably about the last 5 minutes now. And like I mentioned earlier, elephants are one of my favorite animals. So I'm very excited, especially that I've been on holiday for 2 weeks in the concrete jungle, and it's not my favorite place, so I'm absolutely itching to see an elephant. So I'm just going to quickly jump out, and we're going to have a look at this elephant track. Let me quickly remove the earpiece. Let's see if I can get out. Rightio. So, I think let's go to this one over here. No, it's quite difficult to see, but it's a really nice, lovely, fresh track. And there's actually 2 tracks over here. And if you look very carefully on this one, this foot over here, you can actually see the toe print, which is an easy way to tell which direction the elephant's going. It looks like a fairly large bull. And he's going in the direction of a watering hole. So most likely he's going to go and have a drink. And what I'm really hoping for, which would be the absolute cherry on top, is if he's actually trailing a breeding herd. That's often what big bulls will do. They live a solitary life once they get kicked out of the herds. And then they'll spend their lives moving through the bush, looking for girls, checking if they're in estrus or not. So we're going to stick on his tracks. He's been very kind to walk along this wonderful road. And it seems, well, I've got some inside intel, that he possibly looks like he's going the direction of the dam. So that's what we're going to carry on doing. So let me get back in again, get my favorite earpiece on, and then we're gonna mosey on over. I don't think we're too far from the dam now. My GPS tells me that it's just around the corner. So just bear with us for a few minutes. We may even come across this bull before we get to the dam, which will be fine too. Right. So these tracks look nice and fresh. It's quite easy to tell if a track is fresh or not, especially now that the wind has died down. It was a bit windy earlier this morning, so there hasn't actually been any sand that's blown over into the track. You can see the grooves and the cracks in the feet quite nicely, so I'm fairly confident that there's something around here. There we go. I think this is where we're coming up to.
I think go right.
We're going to do a little loop.
Yeah. Let's go right. That way.
We're waving. We got another vehicle. Probably thinking, who's this strange blonde? Doesn't seem to be too much water on this side. Hello, Monty. These clouds are a bit deceiving at the moment. So you've asked, do we get any rain at this time of the year? Not so much now. It is a bit dry and brown and grey, and we are in the middle of winter at the moment, so we should hopefully start to get rain. If we can get some early rain in September, that'd be nice, but I think probably more likely around October. We had bouts of rain last year. It could be very different though up further north in the Sabi Sands. You won't believe how localized the weather is. So yeah, these clouds they look all big and scary, but they're not really low enough. There's no big cumulonimbus clouds forming, which is your typical thunderstorm. So yeah, not too much. If we did get some rain now, that I can tell you right now that every single ranger, field guide, manager, presenter will be doing handstands and cartwheels for you. So actually keep your fingers crossed. Let's hope we get some rain. You might see a dance from us. So we're arriving. Have we arrived?
We're going to turn left, yeah.
Okay, we have arrived.
We're getting there.
We're getting there slowly. We're just doing the scenic way around. What we're doing, this is an African massage, so just hold on tight here. But a bit bumpy.
We're going on an adventure.
Yeah. James. So, obviously when you start as a guide or anybody in this industry, the first thing you learn to do is game drives. So it becomes relatively easy as you go along. I actually prefer walking just because you get to see so many more of the smaller things. And most people, when they come on safari for the first time, they want to see all the big, wonderful animals, which is of course great, and that's what keeps people coming back. I mean, who doesn't want to see a lion kill or a herd of elephants wallowing in the water, which I'm hoping to see now. But ideally, when you've gone on safari once, it's great to see those big things. But now that you've seen them and you're very excited, you want to go, what else is out there? I've seen the impala, I've seen the kudu, I've seen the nyala. So that's when you really get a fantastic opportunity to start focusing on the smaller thing, from things like plants to, maybe you really enjoyed birding the first time that you came through. So yeah, so I think walking is probably my favorite. You get to use your senses a lot more as well. You don't hear the rumbling of the vehicle so much. But game drives are fun. Obviously, you get to have wonderful close and personal experiences with all the animals if they're allowing you to in the vehicles. When you do a walk, you don't really focus on the big game so much, which is not always a problem. Sometimes if you're lucky and you come across them and you bump them, you can view them from a distance. Otherwise, things like frogs, that's one of my favorite, but don't tell anybody because people think I'm a bit strange to really really enjoy amphibians. So I quite love the rain. All the little strange creatures come popping out, which is awesome. But thanks for that question. Buffalo, have a look what we've got on the right. It's nice. So not quite elephants, but close enough. Have a quick look with my binoculars. It's always nice to use your binoculars when you're out in the bush, even though we get to get relatively close to the animals. You can really start to see things like ticks and scars and all sorts of strange markings, which was really nice. And if you have a look, there's one big dugger boy or big buffalo bull that's having a rub on that fallen marula. Having a good old scratch. I think what we're going to do now is I'm just going to take a moment just to appreciate the sighting. It's been a little bit quiet this afternoon. So just for a minute or two, we're just going to sit in silence and just have a look and observe what these dugger boys are up to. So I'm sure some of you are thinking, what on earth are these buffalo doing in this dense sort of section of the reserve? Because I'm sure most of you know buffalo are related to cows and the Bovidae family, so they eat grass. And this is true, they are bulk grazers. However, at this time of the year, when there isn't much grazing around, I see there's a few sprouts of grass popping up here, but I don't think it's got too much nutritional value. They're actually very clever. So they're moving through these thicker parts where perhaps some of the other animals have maybe missed bits of grass that are growing underneath. Like for example, this fallen marula, or they're underneath some other shrubs, and you'll see them actually trying to move them away and feed on a few sprouts of grass. Also, it's not uncommon to see buffalo actually browsing at this time of the year, which is quite funny because it was only after about 2 years of guarding that I actually saw a buffalo browse for the first time, and I was completely shocked because most of the books say that they just bulk grazers, but you see them feeding on apple leaves, round leaf teak, so that's possibly what they could also be after this afternoon. Hello, boys. Oh, we're going to have a little bit of a scuffle. Oh, wow. Look at this. There we go. Oh, test of a dominance there. There we go. You can see this chap on the left. He's nice and proud. He obviously won that battle. Very happy. And all the oxpeckers. So these boys are now sort of moving off into some thicker vegetation. It's going to be quite difficult to follow them through here. Also, we don't want to drive over unnecessarily because, you know, we could squash the last bit of the grass. So I think let's pop on over to Brent and see what he's got up to. I wonder if that carcass is smelling less fresh. But enjoy.
So, no sign of lions, but there's some ellies, and they're not the most relaxed herd, so I'm not going to get too close. Moving away from Cheetah Plains Pan, heading southeast back towards the Kruger. I said they're not the most relaxed, but I'm going to try and get in behind them, and then we can watch them as they walk across this big open plain. Also, was a squirrel alarm calling. So we're definitely going to be checking this area very, very intensely. But let's just enjoy these wonderful eddies first. You can just see from their body language they're not 100% relaxed. So I'm not going to go any closer. I'm going to go past them. And we can look at them as they walk away. You can see this female. She's sort of posturing herself to try to keep us away from the babies. We don't want to stress them out. You'll see as we get further away from them, her walk should relax a little bit. Okay, that looks like it should be the spot. There we go. You can see they've relaxed down nicely now. Just stopping to listen to us. I can see they've probably come in from the Kruger and in an area where there's not a lot of vehicle traffic, so they're not used to vehicles, so we're going to keep our distance. We want them not to have any negative interactions with cars, so keep our distance a little bit, let them relax, and hopefully they'll stop and start feeding. So everyone is right at the elephant quiz. Rita and Elaine say about 150 kilos, and Chris Rogue says 600 pounds. So it is anything from about 150 kilograms to 250 kilograms, which is about 600 pounds for an adult bull elephant. Females, like these ones, probably around 120 to 150 kilos, but an adult male can eat up to 250 kilometers in a sitting. And you can see they are relaxing. Now we stopped far enough away from them, and they're going to slowly keep feeding and melt into the bush. Now I'm just also going to keep quiet for a second to listen. Look at the little guy. Hasn't quite mastered that whole trunk thing yet. More of a game with the guarri than feeding. Okay, the Ellies are going to disappear. I want to go do a quick loop down to the red sand section of Cheetah Plains, one of my favorite little areas, and always a good place to look for in Kanyeni, who's the dominant female leopard in the eastern part of Cheetah Plains. I haven't seen her in such a long time. I'd love to catch up with her. And from what I've heard, even from the guys in Coral, I haven't seen her too often. She's been spending a lot of time in Kruger. And I think that's because quarantine's been in this area, and he has chased her a couple of times. For those of you who might not know who I'm talking about, Quarantine is a young male leopard who is busy trying to establish territory in the area around Cheetah Plains and in Coral. Okay. Hi, Dorth. Dorth says, where's Gnorm the Gnu? Dorth, I wish I knew. He's probably around. I think he might have been lying up down in the thickets in the bottom of that open area. I don't think he would have moved too far. There's still a fair bit of grass around on the edges for him to sort of scurry about in. But Norman's also missing. I did see Norman a few days before I went away, so he is around, and maybe he's just resting in that slightly thicker area. It is cold and windy, so it would make sense for him not to be out in the open. But Norman's also missing, so hopefully neither of them have met an untimely demise to a large predator. So not only is this a great place to look for in Kanyeni, the female leopard, this is where the area where we saw the first and only so far pangolin sighting on Safari Live, and it was on a cold, windy day, very similar to this. So fingers crossed. I know Jean-Ray would literally probably do a leap of joy if we found a pangolin. I might get too excited to speak again. And final control, we'll call it an armadillo. But yes, no, that was Rebecca, not sure what it was. Well, Dave, who was on camera that day, even said, "What the hell is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a pangolin!" Oh, panics. So much excitement. This is definitely one of my favorite spots on Cheetah Plains. This little area around Buff Pan, magnificent leadwoods. There's another nice one here, and wonderful, wonderful area. Now all we need is a leopard in it. as we go around this corner, see the soil change completely. Always check very carefully in this area. Kanyini doesn't seem to like it a lot. Hi Monique. Monique is wondering about an update on Tingana. And so I just think I saw something in the tree there. Well, Monique, I haven't heard anything about Tingana. The last I think he was seen was to the south of Djuma. And I haven't heard anything. I'm sure he's around, out patrolling, being a male leopard, chasing young males, mating with females. But he doesn't really come this far. And this is normally Shivambalan's territory, this area out here. And it would be nice to catch up with him as well. So really, really fascinating that Quarantine's been behaving how he has. He's been very, very cheeky to Shivambalan, and especially for a leopard of that size, to take almost no notice of a much bigger animal. Okay, so we've no tracks just yet, but there's some incredible little bits of light that are coming through the clouds every now and then. There's one there. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Now, just up ahead here was actually the first time I saw Nkanyini, and she and her two cubs were actually walking into one of those shafts of light. It was absolutely spectacular. So fingers crossed that we're going to have something in the shaft of light around the corner. Always checking very carefully. There's some big game trails here. That Nkanyini likes to use. So I just saw there were some off-road tracks there, but they look a bit old. Okay, so we're coming out onto the Kalkol open area, and this was the first place I saw Nkanyini on live drive with both the cubs. Here we go. No, dear, nothing out here on the open area. So we're going to head back towards Cheetah Plains Pan, and I'm going to head back towards 3 in a row pan, see if any lion tracks coming out, and while we continue our search for feline predators, let's go see what Tayla's found back up in the north.
So as you can see, we've come across a beautiful breeding herd of buffalo. It seems to be buffalo day for me. We've had absolutely no luck with the elephants. I think they moved off into some very, very dense brush to do some feeding as the sun slowly starts to go down. But yeah, down where I'm working, we haven't actually been seeing bigger herds of buffalo, which is really nice to see. So I'm just going to reposition a little bit. They seem to be moving off. So let's just get into a better spot over here. They're usually quite relaxed, so I'm sure they won't mind us too much encroaching into the herd. But let's go have a look. I do want to say thank you very much to everybody that's online watching us live at the moment. Thank you very much for the positive feedback. It's it's encouraging. So the butterflies are slowly disappearing now, but I don't want to get too confident. So yeah, thanks so much, everybody. But yeah, have a look at this beautiful buffalo herd. It's very, very exciting. So Penny has just asked, are buffalo teeth the same as cow teeth? So as I mentioned earlier, buffalo, being in the Bovidae family along with the wildebeest and cows, I'm pretty sure they all have very much the same tooth structure. They're all grazers, so I don't think there'd be too much of a difference. So I hope that answers your question. As you can see, they're moving off now in single file. A few little patties left on the road, which is normally what you see after a herd of buffalo has moved through. Possibly they're on their way to a dam to drink. Maybe they've already, well, it doesn't look like they've actually been in any water, so maybe they're going there to have one last drink before sunset. I think let's follow them for a little bit. Let's just keep on moving and see what they get up to. What's quite nice, I don't know if you can see the drongo, the fork-tailed drongo on top of the wattle. Oh, typical birds. As you speak about them, they become camera shy and they fly away. This is very normal. But drongos are often around the mammals, especially something like a buffalo and even around elephants. And they have this amazing symbiosis. So as the buffalo or whichever herbivore it may be moves through the grass, they're obviously kicking the ground, they're brushing up against a tree, and quite a few insects sort of fly around. And this makes for a very easy meal for a drongo. So it swoops down, does a little bit of an acrobatic turn, and there's another one. Let's see if we can get one of them to sit still. For those of you who have never seen a fork-tailed drongo, oh my goodness, they're everywhere over here. There's one actually, I just don't want to sit still. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit further. We will get a drongo, and we'll just have a quick little look at them because they're really incredible birds. There's quite a few of them sitting up just on the fallen tree. There's a nice one on a silver cluster, and of course it's gone. Why won't you guys sit still? There we go. There we go. So yeah, watch them. It's incredible how they just swoop down. Like I said, they're acrobats of the sky. They're amazing as they fly through, swoop down, grab a butterfly or a grasshopper, whatever it may be, take it back to the perch, and then gobble it on down. But it seems like these buffalo have had enough of us. I don't know, Jamie, did you put deodorant on today?
I didn't. I think that's the problem. We put our thumb on the problem. Sorry.
Sorry, I had a bit of technical difficulty there. Monique, I'm just going to get FC just to relay that question. Monique, sorry, so you asked, are there any calves with this breeding herd? And yes, there will be. Some of them will be a bit older now. Maybe a few of them have died off. I didn't see any particularly small ones. I saw a few that are sort of around a year. But unfortunately, with the last sort of 2 cycles of rainfall, we haven't seen much rain, which then obviously hasn't produced a lot of grass. And it's what the buffaloes like to eat. So sometimes what happens is if the conditions aren't right, the females just don't have enough sort of food source to actually even produce a fetus, and they won't have any calves. And it's quite normal in harsh conditions. But when we get enough rain again and some grass grows, then we'll probably be seeing a lot of calves. Down in the south, we've been seeing a few youngsters, but unfortunately the lions have been picking them off one at a time. Obviously, with mom not producing a lot of milk, the calves aren't growing as quickly and as strongly as they should. So it's a bit tough for them at the moment. But let's keep our fingers crossed that a few of them pull through. It's obviously important to have buffalo every year. I think there's one last female coming through. Got some fantastic news for you all. So as we've been chatting, it is buffalo day today, and Brent has got some more buffalo, and they're at a pan. So maybe we get to see some different behavior. So I think we're going to switch on over to him and give you a little buffalo variety. Enjoy.
Sorry guys, I'm just on the Game Drive channel. Andrew. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get an update here. But we are, a little, very small herd of buffalo has come in for a drink. I think they've drunk in another pan because not all of them drank. And they're actually heading in almost the exact same direction as those elephants did. But I've just got a report now in my ear for something a little bit more exciting than lions. I mean, than buffalo, which is lions, so I gave it away. So, that was terrible. Oh, bye, buffs. Hello, Jamie. Jamie said she's just seen white markings on a buffalo's face. What are they? They are pre-orbital glands. They're just little glands that secrete, and quite often lots of little bits of information that will be passed between the buffalo by the secretions on those glands. And you'll often see them rubbing them up against bushes and that. Even though buffalo aren't territorial, they do leave a bit of a scent behind where they have been. Sorry, I've just got to concentrate on the radio for a second. Andrew. Andrew, I'm battling to copy on the Eastern Channel. Can you go Northern Channel, please? Afternoon, Andrew. I'd like to make my way towards your position. Is there a standby available? Sorry, guys. Just leaving CP Pan. There's a small number of Nyari that have come down. Copy, thanks very much. Okay, so we're to standby. The lions actually seemed like they went back into Malamala and then went back west. But Andrew's found them. Oh dear, very noisy. So there's the tree James had a little argument with, and he nearly fell out, but he did manage to scratch himself. So that was the one that had the pipe in it. I just need to listen. Okay, I can hear them now. Sorry, Andrew, go again. Copy, thanks very much, Andrew. Confirm at Jumadam. Copy, thanks very much. Okay. Yay. Copy, thanks very much, Andrew. Yay, we're going to go see the Styx Cubs. This is going to be my first time. I'm very excited. Jandre, of course, spent the whole morning. He's looking quite blasé about it. So, but it's my first time to see these Lion Cubs. And isn't it incredible how many cubs are around at the moment? So there's 6 Inkahuma cubs, 2 Karula cubs, so that's 8, and 8 Styx cubs, so 16, 1 Tandi cub, 1 Nkanyeni cub, 1 Shadow cub. So we're on 19. Salahesh, that's not really a cub, that's a sub-adult now. We can't call Salahesh as a cub yet. Trying to think, is there anything else that's got a cub at the moment? Oh, the hyenas must have some cubs, but unfortunately their den has moved to Mala Mala. I mean, not Mala Mala, to Manyeleti. We're going down near Mala Mala now. While we rush across to those gorgeous leopards. Oh, watch out, Stenwoggy. Let's go back to Tayla, who's with the most numerous antelope in Africa, south of the Sahara.
Just having a good chuckle here. Obviously, impala, I'm sure all of you have seen at least a photo of an impala. But they're really important animals to have around. This is a nice little group here. There's a couple of young males. I haven't seen the big ram yet. Maybe we'll be able to spot him. It's quite thick here. But impala, probably the most common antelope. Actually, they are the most common antelope throughout Africa. And they're a really important food source for a variety of different predators. So don't just shrug them off your shoulder. It's good to stop and appreciate and have a look at impala. You can see they're busy munching away. They found something that they're enjoying that's got a little bit of nutrients. Munching. So what we're actually going to do now is we're not going to stick with these impala too long. What I'd really like to do is head into the direction, seeing as we didn't have any luck with the elephants, and of where we saw those leopard tracks this morning with Jamie. So it was Sandile's tracks that we had, and then we also had Shadow's tracks. So like I keep saying to you guys, I'm very excited to see the other types of leopards up in the northern sector of the Sabi Sands. I hear about them all the time, read about them on Facebook, but I've never had the opportunity to see any of them myself. So, and who doesn't love a leopard? The pattern on the coat is beautiful. So let's mosey on over that way, and hopefully maybe we get some fresh tracks, maybe that it's cooled down a little bit now. Maybe one of the leopards have come out and become a bit more active. Maybe someone's hunted during the day. I'm not sure. You never know what the bush has for you. So let's head on. So let's see what else is happening. Bye-bye, impala. Thank you. Hello, James. So you've asked, what is my favorite baby animal? Sure. I really enjoy them all, but who doesn't love a baby elephant? I think a young elephant that's younger than 6 months old is possibly my favorite. I think they're the most entertaining animals of the bush. When the fact that they're still, training all those muscles in their trunk, it's really hysterical. I think Jamie actually had a really nice sighting of elephants yesterday afternoon, if you were with us watching it. And that was a prime example of why baby elephants are probably my favorite baby animal. It was waving its trunk around, did a bit of a headstand. They get really excited, and then to watch, one or two of them sort of wrestle, push each other to the ground, sort of mount each other, that type of thing. That's also really fun to watch. So thanks for that question, James. Bye-bye. It's just amazing how the vegetation just changes. All of a sudden we've got a lot of marula trees, so it's quite a sandy crest sort of area over here, which is quite nice. Lots of silver cluster leaves, lots of bush willows. So Kathy's just asked us a lovely question. And I think it's something that also, once again, like the hippos being seen out of water, everyone would love to see an elephant shake a marula tree. So Kathy's question was, when do marula trees bear the fruit? Every tree is slightly different, so it depends on the type of soil that it's in and how much water it's got. But anywhere from about February, you'll start to see the fruit quite nicely. Sorry, I'm just getting some directions as we go along.
Saying right.
GPS, right. So around February, where I'm from, obviously I haven't worked up this north, but February, March, they sort of start dropping down to the ground, and then it's a race. It's a race between the monkeys, the birds, the warthogs, the elephants, and of course, the rangers and anybody else who's ever tasted a delicious marula fruit as to who can collect them. So something that I like to do is, if the elephants have thankfully pushed the tree around a little bit and loosened a few fruits, is when that elephant has moved off, I'm quite sneaky. I'll run on in and grab a few, keep them in a little plastic bag, let them ripen for a few days, and my tracker and I, we then gobble on them, and if I'm lucky enough to have some guests in the process, they munch on them too, and they're so delicious. See, now it's changed again. Now it's not as dense as it was before. It's a little bit more open. And the wind has picked up. I thought I moved away from Port Elizabeth to get away from the wind, but it seems like the last few days it's been very much like Port Elizabeth. So, I know how much everybody loves the cats, and I know Brent has got a wonderful surprise for all of you. I'm not sure if it is a surprise, maybe he has told you, but he didn't tell me. So I'm going to send you on his way, and enjoy, and hopefully we're going to find a leopard for you a bit later. So keep your fingers crossed for us, do a little dance if you can, and we'll see you guys a little bit later.
Look at that. That is what you call an absolute pile of cubs. And my favorite is the one stretching. He's got such a big belly. And look at that tummy. Look how big his tummy is. He can't get comfortable. He's so fat. There's no way he can find a comfortable spot to sleep. Yeah. Look at that. Okay, we're just going to move a bit forward. We just wanted to show you that cub who is lying on his back like that. Just too cute. So this is my first sighting of the Styx cubs, and very exciting. And you can see there's some very full lions around here from this morning. There we go. Has it got a piece of elephant dung there as well? Look at him. I think he's picked up a piece of elephant dung. Or just lying in between the elephant dung. There's still a few little ones suckling. And oh, between the legs. They are just too cute for words. I definitely think little lion cubs win the cute competition out in the bush. Well, for me anyway. And I think James definitely agrees with me. You can see how full all the tummies are. And we had a look at that carcass, how little of that kudu was left. Oh, hello. Itchy. Very itchy. tired kitty. And then we go look at that other one sleeping with Mom. Mom! Oh, looks like a little boy. Isn't that just too sweet? Oh, the other one's taking opportunity to suckle without any competition. But look how its ears fold back, as if there was competition and they were fighting over a kill. Nothing like a foot in the face. Oh, you can see its claws are even out. Play with me, Mom. Play with me. I'm bored. Lionesses definitely have incredible patience, and they are clambered on constantly by these little critters. Roll over. Oh, isn't that just too sweet? Can you hear them? Oh, there we go. You can see how the one on the right does look like a little boy. You can see the size difference already. Oh, going to go get into the big suckling match. Sorry, I just got to be on the radio. Peter. Sorry, Peter, I was on the eastern side of Cheetah Plains. I don't have good comms there. But those Ingwer corns were crossed into Nkoro about 300 meters to the west of Jacobin. Copy, good luck. Look at that. So there's literally a pile of cubs there. Getting really stuck in there. Look at the ears going. Oh, look at that, just lying with Mom. Now, of course, it becomes quite difficult when the cubs get to this age to tell exactly who Mom is. There's two lionesses that have had the cubs, and there's lions practice allo suckling. So it means that they will suckle other members of the pride's cubs. So seeing exactly who Mom is can be quite difficult. So if we have a look there are 8 cubs, and 6 of them are all in a pile around the one female at the moment. Hi, Patricia Scott. Now, Patricia's wondering, are they all full from the dead elephant? No, they're all full from a kudu that they caught this morning. So the Nkahuma pride are on the elephant, and this is the Styx pride. So it's a different pride of lions. We don't see them as much as we see the Nkahumas, but it is great that they are on Cheetah Plains at the moment. Now, Fiona says, is it an optical illusion, or are the Styx lions much darker than the Nkahuma lions? Fiona, I think it's a bit of an optical illusion. They also were on a carcass this morning. They could still have a bit of dirt and mud from that. But the cubs are quite dark, but they will lighten. Thirsty, thirsty. And you would think they wouldn't be with those massive bellies they're sporting at the moment. Now, hopefully they'll start playing around shortly. But I think with those big bellies, we're not going to get too much action out of them. And there are quite a few vehicles waiting to get into the sighting. So what we can do is we can call Mike in, and then if there's a bit of time before it gets dark, we're going to come back. And we've still got a few more minutes. So we'll just keep enjoying the cubs for as long as we can. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, it's just so fat. So fat. Oh, shame. Let's see how long he manages to last. I think his belly is so fat, he's really struggling to get a comfortable position to sleep in. Because, of course, he's got full of kudu. And as well as being full of kudu, he's now full of milk as well. Now, the clicking you hear is my camera. I'm taking a few pictures. And there's also another game drive vehicle here where there's a lot of pictures being taken. So there's a bit of clicking. And we encourage you to do the same. Click on a screenshot. And if you get some good screenshots, share them on our Facebook page, Safari Live, or pop them on Twitter with the hashtag Safari Live. Oh, so cute. Mike. Giving itself a good clean. Oh, the little one's come out from between Mom's legs. And see if it tries to burrow back in there. Mike. So I'm on the Game Drive channel, and it's how we keep in contact and how we find a lot of these sightings is by being in contact with all the other game drives out here. Mike. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, so, well, we're going to enjoy. I'm just going to move the vehicle slightly. Hey, little monsters. Are we behind us, Chandra? Iretus would like to know, how do we tell the difference between the two prides? So I've just seen a spectacular sky, and I'm going to try and get the lions in front of it. go. Isn't that absolutely stunning? And to have a sky like that with lions here, and you can see she's just rolled over. She is so fat. Oh, it's very bemused. Look at that is a belly. I think literally if you had to poke that with your finger, she would explode. That is one of the fattest lions I've seen in a very, very long time. Mike. Oh, very, 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 very fat cat. Oh, it's a very tired kitty. There's a very happy pride of lions. Hi, Richard. Richard's wondering, do lions get the majority of their liquids from mom's milk, or they drink from water holes? And they'll get it from mom's milk, water holes, and blood on the kills. So lions are not actually water dependent, but if there is water available, they will take advantage of it. Isn't this just absolutely spectacular? We are so lucky to be able to spend as much time as we do with these incredible cats. And can you believe we are live from Cheetah Plains Private Game Reserve, watching the Styx Pride and their 8 cubs. Okay, so we're going to sit here for a little longer. I just need to do some organization on the game drive radio. So while we do that, let's go see what tusked beast Tayla has found.
Oh well. No panic, just say.
Well, you won't believe what we just missed. We just had 2 beautiful warthogs who were just milling around, not so bothered, and then typical, very, 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 very camera shy.
Good on you.
Hello everybody, sorry, just saying hello to everybody. Hello. So we had these wonderful warthogs, and they were posing so beautifully for us, which was really great. But unfortunately, I think, they heard the word camera or live or something along those lines, and they went darting off into the distance. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to carry on along this wonderful long road down ahead, and we're going to go and do a bit of a river cruise, I believe. It's exciting. I didn't bring my costume though, so I'll just have to get my clothes a bit wet, but off we go. We're going to carry on a little bit, so just bear with us as we bumble along. Might eat a little bit of dust. It seems to be quite a popular road this afternoon. Ooh. We've got one of the other rangers just marking some tracks. We'll just give him a bit of room. We don't want to put him under too much pressure with all the cameras around. Hello, Kathy. Thanks for the question. So your question was, how much do I rely on my tracker during game drive? So it's first time I've actually ever worked with a tracker, which was quite nice. I was very new, quite intimidated, but I'm very, very blessed. I've got the most amazing tracker in the whole world, but we're all biased about our own trackers. But I think he's wonderful. His name's Candy. Give a little shout out to him. And yeah, so he's really brilliant, and he's taught me so much in the year that I've been working with him. So I rely on him quite heavily. Obviously, he sits right on the top of my vehicle over there. He's got a lovely little comfy chair. And what he'll do is, as he's driving around, he's obviously focusing on the road. He's not just focusing on tracks. He's looking for dung. He's looking for grass that's been pushed over in the morning when there's dew that's set from the night before. All these small little signs that could indicate that perhaps an animal has moved through this area. So, especially when you're looking for cats and you've had a few vehicles driving over the roads, it's quite nice. Some of these guys have grown up in the area, so they have a really good natural instinct of where the cats could possibly be if we've maybe lost some tracks. I'm just trying to have a look just to see what was circled. And you see what was circled? Oh, apparently a little bit further on, so we'll go a little bit further. Warthog. Looks like warthog tracks, which might be a bit difficult for you guys to see. It's really down below my vehicle, so not to worry. Unfortunately, we missed them. It must be from those same females that we saw just before. I'm actually just going to pull slightly off the road. I see there is a vehicle behind me, Shame, and I'm not the fastest driver, so we'll give him a bit of an opportunity to pass us. So sorry for the inconvenience. This is quite a popular road, so we've got a civilian vehicle coming on through here. We'll let them carry on. Cheerio. Maybe going to drop some guests off at a lodge, maybe going to pick some up and take them home, which I'm sure the guests wouldn't be too happy about. No one ever wants to leave when you come on safari. While we can carry on. So I think what we're going to do now, this is quite a long straight road, as you can see in front of us. Not too much happening at the moment. We're basically making our way to go and do a sunset river cruise. So let's see what's happening with Brent and the lion cubs.
Look at that. See how that little cub is actually extended its claws and it's grooming the sheath that the claws go into. Look at that. Wow. No. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So, lions, leopards, domestic cats have those retractable claws, and it is incredible how sharp they are able to keep them. Now everyone's stopped feeding, and there we go, a bit of allo grooming or social grooming happening between the cubs. And of course that's really, really important in lion social dynamics. It reaffirms bonds and it keeps the pride as a close-knit unit. Oh, look at that, still cleaning those claws. Now, Rita is wondering, how do we tell the prides apart? And, well, firstly, there's only 3 lionesses in the Styx pride, and there are 5 in the Nkuhuma pride. Also, it's generally where we see them. The Styx pride are generally to the south of Djuma and to the west of Cheetah Plains. They do come onto Cheetah Plains, but it's generally from the areas. And there's certain individuals, like the amber-eyed lioness, are quite easy to tell apart. And the Styx are very big girls as well. The females, for me, are slightly larger than the Nkuhuma females. There you go, so lots of cleaning and preening. And the tick is about to, and they're all fat as little ticks at the moment. Massive little bellies, full of milk and meat. Oh, look at that lovely late afternoon light popping through the clouds, giving the lions a nice little bit of backlighting. And there's the fattest lioness. Oh, she seems to have heard me. There we go. Oh. Hello, Tucker. Tucker is 4 years old, and Tucker is watching Safari Live with us. Tucker would like to know, and he's a bit worried. He says, don't those baby lions know who their mommy is? I'm sure they do, Tucker, but with lions, they've got more than one mommy, so they will share milk between the moms. So all the lions are mommies to the whole pride, so they look after the whole pride. It's one of the reasons that they're a social cat. Let's have a look in this golden light. And there is the fat lion. We'll go scooting past that large belly towards the babies. Oh, let's roll over. Hi, Carol. And Carol says, does one of the lionesses have a skin problem like the Birmingham male? I haven't seen on the lionesses, but some of the cubs, like that one there, seems to have a little bit of a skin problem. It could be mites. It could also be a fungal infection. But it doesn't look to be harming them too much. Oh, boof. Okay, so guys, we've got to leave shortly to let Mike from Cheetah Plains come in to enjoy the sighting. Oh, look, a little Fenn and Grimace there. Hush tight, kitty. Okay, so I can hear Mike's car on its way. So we're going to have one last look at these glorious little cubbies before making our way on to see what else we can find. So bye-bye cubs, bye-bye sticks. So the sun is getting a bit low, and we're going to give Mike a chance to come in here and have a look at them before it's dark, because we don't watch cubs with spotlights after dark. We'll leave them be. So while we move out, let's go see how Tayla is faring in the north, and we'll be back a little later.
Welcome aboard the SS Djuma. I don't know. So we successfully made it into this dry riverbed now. So we're cruising along, and it's actually really beautiful. This gives us an opportunity now to see some of the big species of trees. We've got lots of weeping boerbeens, we've got jackalberries, we've got a massive leadwood actually just behind us. That is really spectacular. I'm actually just going to stop here for a second. Let's appreciate the leadwood for a moment. Look at that. We don't see too many leadwoods of this side where I'm from. Unfortunately, the elephants have pushed them over and sort of dwarfed them. So this is really beautiful, beautiful to have a look at. Very hard wood too. So I wouldn't recommend making a boat out of this. Maybe use something else, like a marula. That's quite a nice one. When I was working up in Zambia, they used to have dugout canoes, or they used to call them makoros, and they'd actually use marulas to make them. That's quite nice. We're going to sort of cruise on along through here. Maybe we get to see some bushbuck, maybe we see some inyala. This is quite a good area to actually see any of the animal species, and particularly in the winter months. So during the winter months, the animals have exhausted most of their food sources on the open plains, and like we saw with the buffalo, they're moving into the denser vegetation. And obviously, along a dry river system like this, there's probably really great water, not too deep underneath the sand. So you can imagine the vegetation along the banks of these rivers is quite green, and you'll see that as we're moving along here. So that naturally attracts quite a few different species of animals that will come and do most of their feeding around here. So let's do one of my favorite things, and we're just going to move along here very slowly. Oh, we've got some overhanging branches up ahead. So watch your heads. Well, lucky for you at home, you don't have to watch your heads or anything like that. But GPS on the back and Dave on the camera. Just keep an eye out. We're going to do a very quick wipe there. We seem to have got some water on the lens as we came splashing on through this raging river. So just important to give it a clean. That's what happens when you work out in Africa. Things like dust and all sorts of things get into every nook and cranny. A lot of elephant dung around here. Should we have a look at this jackalberry above us? That's nice. So jackalberries are wonderful trees. And I know Brent earlier was hoping to see a leopard in one, and you actually do see leopards and jackalberries quite often. They've got beautiful branches. They actually grow out quite nice and horizontal, so it makes for a good spot for a leopard to lie on. And they're very easy to identify. You can see how dark the wood is. The only one you could maybe get confused with in this area is maybe a weeping boerbeen, and sometimes they grow together on termite mounds. But if you look very carefully, you may even see a fruit starting to develop on this jackalberry, but I might be getting a bit excited. But I have been seeing a few with fruit, and Kathy, I believe, was asking about marulas, if I'm not mistaken, earlier. And this is another of my favorite fruits to eat, and which is also really good, which I sort of try and beat the animals to. So it starts off nice and green. You should start seeing them developing now, and then usually by the end of July, sort of August, so soon, they'll start to go like a yellowy color, and they'll fall to the ground, and they're delicious. You can actually eat them, which is really, really nice. Very tasty, lots of sugar. This one I can't seem to see too many more fruits. So we'll see if we find another one with some fruits. I'll point them out to you, definitely. Maybe we even get to find the first one that's ripe and I get to taste it. Well, I think it's going to be a really beautiful sunset this evening. These clouds have sort of thinned out again a little bit. And I'm sure you all know clouds make a sunset or a sunrise even better than what they'd normally be without any clouds. And as you're driving, you also see lots of little game parks.
Wasn't that wonderful? I'm sorry. I just get this amazing feeling of well-being after being with little lion cubs. They are just too gorgeous. But don't tell the Sticks ladies. I think the Nkuma cubs are prettier. Shouldn't be judging, but I do like the Nkuma pride more than the Sticks pride, and I do think the Nkuma cubs are cuter. They are a little bit younger, which always makes them a bit cuter as well. But it's really wonderful that we've got so many cubs about. So we're going to start making our way back towards the northwest and see what's happening on Djuma. We're going to quickly check around this northern sector of Cheetah Plains, where those leopard tracks were about earlier today, but they went into Nkoro. I'm just hoping they might have meandered back. A beautiful evening light coming through. Always check the top of the termite mounds. Mr. Q's favourite spot to hide. Ooh, I thought I heard something scurrying in the undergrowth there. It's a pair of red-crested corans. And yeah, sorry about this. Mic I've left, make your way straight in. So it is breeding season. They're not being the most showy for us. Now, wouldn't it be incredible if we catch the male doing the suicide dance? And do you think Jean-Ray is going to be fast enough on camera? I think he will. So, nicknamed the suicide bird. I'm not sure whether it's a breeding pair or mom and a baby. So have a look. I think it's a mom and a baby, yes. Sorry, I didn't have a good enough look earlier. No, or is it? Yes, it is. Isn't that beautiful? A pair of korhans. Now, they're called the suicide bird because they have the most spectacular mating dance. It's amazing what men will do to impress the ladies. They literally will fly vertically up into the sky, close their wings, and plummet to the earth. And just before they hit the ground, they open their wings and land. And of course, the more daring the male, the more attractive he is to the girls. Okay, so we're going to start heading back towards Djuma, see if we can scrounge up anything in the north. While we do that, let's go see how Tayla's doing.
So sorry about that. I believe we lost signal there. We are driving through a riverbed and we are in Africa. These things happen. But look what we've managed to come across. A lovely family of Nyala. And I'm not sure if any of you know this, but they belong to a really fantastic family. And that is the Trachylaphus, so spiraled horned antelope. We can't see the spiraled horns now because there's only adult females, and then there's a few young males, but their horns are just starting to protrude out of their heads now. And their color still looks very much like a female. But as they start to get older, you can sort of see it on this, the one just behind the big female, behind the fallen tree, is slowly getting a little bit darker in color. And as he gets older, he'll lose that orange tinge to his body and go more of a chocolate brown. You see that big female, she's actually ruminating. It's just in front of us, which is quite nice. So she's taking a break from eating now. And if you look really carefully, you can actually see the cud going up and down her neck. Look at that. Usually you see it nicely in giraffe, but because she's quite kind and she's standing so close and she's looking at us, you can see her doing it every now and then. Oh, there we go. And unfortunately, most of the animals don't have any table manners. They chew with their mouths open and loudly. But that's something you get used to. You can also hear the go-away birds and things calling in the distance. No, it's gone quiet. Typical. But what I really, really love about the Nyala in particular, out of the other species of antelope, so in this family you have bushbuck and kudu, and then of course the Nyala. But my favorite is, look at all their beautiful markings. They've got spots, they've got stripes, they've got different colors. It's pretty spectacular. And what I love about nature is nothing's random. Everything's there for a reason. So most animals, and I'm pretty sure this is something that everybody has touched on before, but for the new viewers out there who are watching us for the first time, this is something very important to know about the bush, is that if you see an animal that's got spots or stripes or different colorings, as I've just mentioned, it actually helps aid in camouflage. So we call it disruptive markings. And it's very, very important to the animals, because when they are standing, say, behind a tree or in front of a tree, those markings help break up the solid shape of the animal, and this will help them blend in to the vegetation a lot better. So the more colors, the more spots, the more stripes an animal has, the better its camouflage. And I love them. They look like they've got little black boots on. Hello, Roger. So, you've asked if Inyala are in the same family as waterbuck and kudu. As far as I'm aware, waterbuck aren't in the Trachylaphus family. So it's actually just the Inyala, the kudu, and the bushbuck. So yeah, I'm actually not 100% certain of which family the waterbuck are in. I'll have to do a bit of research. I can't think of it at the top of my head. But yeah, they're probably more in the family of maybe Sitatungas, something along those lines. Once again, the waterbuck have got those sebaceous glands, and I know that the Lechwe and the Sitatungas, which are very well adapted to water. So with that being said, those animals are probably in the same family group. But thanks for the question. That's a really good one. So she doesn't seem to want to move off. Just chewing away. Listening very carefully. You can see those ears moving independently of each other. So you can imagine, and I'm sure you've all seen kudu and bushbuck before, and the thing that you see first about them is those beautiful big ears. And that's because these animals are predominantly browsers, so they're relying quite heavily on their hearing in order to hear a predator through this thick vegetation. Sometimes it's quite difficult to see a predator, so they need to listen out very, very carefully. And you'll see them, even when they're moving around, they're very dainty. They're always looking where they put their foot, making sure they don't stand on a leaf and crush it, which is very important. They don't want to give their presence away. They want to stay hidden too. But this is a very, very good area for leopard to hunt. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to carry on driving along here just for a little bit longer. Maybe we do get lucky. This is the time that a leopard could wake up from its slumber and start moving along. Like I said, the animals are doing a lot of feeding. Here's the proof. And maybe we get lucky and we find a little leopard that's been hiding away. I think let's shoot back to Brent and see what he's up to. I hope you all enjoyed those lion cubs. I'm envious.
So we're off Cheetah Plains now. We're now on Gowrie Main, which is the main access road to the east. And we have Cheetah to our left and Torchwood to our right. And we have a zebra. I can only see one at the moment, but two, there we go, as I was about to say. Where there's one, there's normally more. Oh, it's a lovely light. It's just that golden hour in Africa at the moment. Look at that, isn't that spectacular? Let me just get the aerial out of the way for you there. How's that, John? Oh, it's so gorgeous, I'm going to take a picture. Come on, lift your head. Now you almost want the zebra to, oh there we go, walk, and you get that brilliant dust. Just that lovely backlighting on a striped donkey. We'll get ready for that wonderful dust. There's another vehicle coming, so the zebra might move. Oof. They are incredibly striking animals. That black and white coat. Its ears are alert. Now it's looking at the vehicle behind us. It doesn't look like it's taking too much notice of it. So the vehicle's just going to go past there in a bit of a rush. Cheers. There we go. And fortunately it's a very short vehicle, so look at the zebra. Oh, we got a fright as the vehicle went past. Unfortunately. But he did have a very bemused look on his face as that vehicle kept coming past. Well, he stepped out of the golden light, unfortunately. But you can see that grass in his... Oh, it's all gone now. Now, if any of you out there have horses or have ridden horses, a lot of the behavioral signs in zebras are almost exactly the same as a horse when they're upset, when they're scared, when they're relaxed. So, very interesting that you... Well, of course, they are quite very closely related. Although zebra is more closely related to a donkey rather than a horse, but behavior-wise, it behaves more like a horse than a donkey. There you go, let's find some more grass. What species is that, Chandra? We zoom in. Can we? Oh, no, we can't see what species of grass it is just there. Now, zebras are bulk grazers, so they're not too fussy about what they eat, and which is probably a good thing in the current drought. Now, because of their way their digestive system works, zebras always look very fat, even if they're not healthy. So one of the best ways to tell if a zebra is actually losing condition is their wonderful mane. Now we can see how upright and vertical that zebra's mane is. Now, when they start losing condition, that mane starts to flop. And that's probably the best way to tell if a zebra is not in good nick. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We've got to go through the Mulwanini River, which we might lose a bit of signal. But Tayla has found one of her favorite creatures, and I'm sure she can't wait to share it with you.
You will not believe, finally, just as the sun is about to disappear, I found my elephants after they tortured me the whole afternoon, just leaving tracks and dung. And now we've come across this wonderful little herd of elephants. They're quite spread out at the moment. And there's a little one lurking in the distance. And I can see a big cow. And we've got a that we're looking at the moment. And then we've got a very young, inquisitive bull approaching our vehicle. He's munching away. So I actually cannot contain my excitement. I cannot tell you how much I love these animals. They're really beautiful, so intelligent. So I'm going to sit and have a look with my binoculars. Welcome, Jamie. Thank you for tuning in to us, and I hope you continue watching. Remember, everybody, this is all live. So Jamie's just asked a question, and he asked, how long do elephants live in the wild? This is quite an interesting question because it's not as simple as it seems. So I'm going to do a little bit of talking now. I apologize. I'm going to steal the show from the elephants, but we'll get back to them, I promise. And so basically, Jamie, what happens is an elephant's age is actually determined in the right scenario. So it's not sick, it's a healthy elephant. And basically an elephant has 6 sets of teeth. So essentially every 10 years or so, a new set of teeth moves up and moves forward like a conveyor belt. So as you know, when animals eat different types of vegetations, it starts to wear their teeth down. So depending on what type of vegetation they're eating, this will determine how long they live. So if an elephant, like now we're experiencing a bit of a drought, so the food isn't as lush and green as what it normally is, they probably, if it continues for a number of years, this will have an effect on it, but for a short period they should be alright. But an elephant can live anywhere between 60 to 70 years, give or take a little bit. So if there's anybody out there that wants to become an elephant dentist, there's a career for you. You know, you could make some nice dentures, and I'm sure they'd probably live a little bit longer. So they don't starve to death. That's very important to realize. It's not a quick process. It's a very long process. So you heard earlier from Brent how he asked the question, how much does an elephant bull eat on average? So I'm sure he told you about how they eat about 5% of their body weight. So what happens is, as they move on, as their teeth start to wear down, and once they get to that last set of molars, is they're not able to eat as much as what they normally would. So it might start off that they're eating only 4.5% of their body weight every day, then 4%, and you'll also even see them moving, feeding along these river systems, drainage lines, or going to dams where there's a permanent source of water, because then usually there's a few trees that are quite green, the vegetation is a bit softer, and over time the elephants slowly start losing weight and become malnourished, and then this is eventually how they die. Oh, we've got the little one playing around. We'll see if this young bull that we were intently watching, if he moves up and over the bank, then we'll be able to maneuver on in to have a closer look at that little one. But I just don't want to block him off from his mom and upset him unnecessarily. And he's actually hiding behind the trees at the moment, not giving us really a good view. You can sort of just see the trees moving. It's a bit like Jurassic Park at the moment. But you can hear him, which is quite nice. Hear him munching away. So I'll be quiet for a little bit. So I think, let's see how he is. Let me just start a vehicle and see what this elephant's reaction is to us. Maybe he'll allow us to inch on a little bit forward. They seem very relaxed. Ooh. That was good. I'm just going to go back a little bit. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to reverse. And we're going to go up this little bank here. There's a little road we can take, which I think, oh, there's a few other men up here. This is actually much better. Fantastic. We've got one having a little dust bath. Just going to move around just a little bit just to get a... Going to go too far off the road, I don't think. Hello. I like to talk to the elephants. I think that they can pick up on your tones. Let's see what's going to happen here. Hello, cheeky. So we've got one that's just sort of showing a little bit of an agitation, but it's a relatively young elephant, so maybe just a bit unsure about the vehicle still. So we'll give a little bit of room, settling down now. Gone back to eating, which is good for us. Is that nice? Look at the thorns on that tree. It's incredible to think that they can munch on such big thorns like that. Young female. But just in the direction that this female is actually going, she's heading towards quite a young calf. I'm going to just maneuver again. Bear with me, please, because she's kicking up some roots, which is quite amazing to see. It's okay, relax, girl. We're just here to watch you. You're beautiful. So I think we'll just hang tight here. She seems to be a little bit nervous of us, but she's settled down again now. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Let's see. Hi, Betty. So you've asked us why, if the elephant's tusks or teeth, why are they not shed and regrown? That's a very interesting question. I don't actually think I've ever been asked that before. So you've stumped me a little bit, but I'm going to try and answer it for you. So an incisor, so the tusks are a modification of the incisor. So they're not used like teeth are traditionally used. They're more used for a digging tool. So I think over the years, with them being able to grow and last a bit longer, it enables them to dig for certain things like water. And I think that they don't need to lose them, because if they keep losing them, they lose the ability to dig for water or loosen a root, something along those lines. So I think it's just an evolutionary process that's happened over a few years. But I will actually do a bit more research on that and see what the actual answer is. But that's just my personal opinion. But thank you. It's nice to have a few questions that make us think. That's what keeps us excited and keep on learning. It's important to get these questions that we're unsure of. What is she munching away there? She got a nice root. Roger, I like your question. So Roger's asked, are there any other animals other than elephants that would be able to dig in the waterbed? So I don't think so, other than maybe a monkey or a primate of some sort. I don't think a warthog has got tusks, but I don't think they have the ability to dig down and scoop out the mud like an elephant would. So yeah, I think it's just the elephants. We saw it quite a bit in Zambia, where the elephants would come through and dig these massive, big, what they call elephant holes in the rivers, and beautiful, lovely, fresh upwellings of water will come through, and elephants prefer to drink lovely fresh water if they have the opportunity to. And you'd often see things like zebra and waterbuck following them. And once they were finished drinking, they'd make use of these holes and drink from them too. I've seen leopard doing the same thing, drinking in a fresh elephant hole before. And that was actually down here in the sands. So I think the animals actually rely on elephants a lot, especially in the drier seasons when there isn't a lot of fresh water available. If I was an animal, I'd probably just follow the elephants around. They break the trees down, which might allow you to feed on vegetation that you couldn't normally reach, and then of course they can provide you with lovely water. So thanks for that, Roger. She's got a root. She's digging very deeply for some roots. Look how she uses her foot and a combination of her trunk. She blows the dust away, the soil away. So as everybody's been saying, in winter, it's very important that the animals are able to dig down and feed on the roots or on the bark, because that's where all the nutrients are being stored in the winter months. A lot of the trees lose their leaves, and elephants are very lucky in that sense. But they can dig for the juicy roots, which I'm sure have quite a bit of moisture in them too. Look at that. So I'm going to keep encouraging all of you. All have the wonderful opportunity of coming on safari. Make sure you get yourself a really good pair of binoculars. Like I said earlier, you can get so close to these animals, but you won't believe what you're able to see with a pair of binoculars. Look at that. Wonderful. Really, really wonderful. Lovely. Munching away, very happy. But here's our little elephant. Here we go. This is the one I was talking about earlier. Coming to learn, possibly from maybe an older sister. Flicking the sand about. Thomas from Colorado. Hello and welcome. Thanks for watching. So Thomas has asked, do each elephant footprints have an individual unique characteristic to them, like we as humans or like zebras have unique stripes, or we have the fingerprints. I'm unsure of this, but I can imagine that every foot is very different. I don't think every pattern, every crack is the exact same as the other. There might be a slight difference. So I would say yes. I would say I don't think any of the elephants have this exact same footprint. Just going to move a little bit forward. We're just going to see how she reacts again, just so you can get a little bit of a better view of this little one. Hi, Gail. Little one's disappearing. We got a little bit bundu bashing. There we go. You got a little bum shot, but it's a cute bum. Oh, shake that sand off. Look at that. That's the boogie out in Africa. There we go. You can try that at your next disco. Maybe I'll do it a bit later. She's really enjoying herself. Oh, yeah, another little tidbit. So these elephants are just going to carry on munching the entire day. Elephants, not only do they eat 5% of their body weight, but they usually graze and browse for about 19 hours a day, which is quite a lot, which is sort of how they feed you at Safari Live. You never stop getting food. Oh, and I really wish we could... Marianne, so I have your question. Your question was, why do we never see birds landing on elephants? I have, in fact, and I can only talk about Zambia because I did work there for a little bit. We saw a lot of cattle egrets riding the backs of elephants, moving through the wetlands. But other than that, maybe the occasional brave drongo might swoop down and land on the back for a little bit. But that's true. You don't see too many birds sitting on elephants. But definitely cattle egrets and sort of north of South Africa where it gets a bit more marshy. So I'm sure in Botswana you'll see the same thing. So have a look out for that. Maybe even try, if you can, Google a photo. It's quite humorous. That little one, I'm hoping that he comes back around here because he's so funny to look at. He's pushing trees over. He was rubbing up on a branch earlier, but I just don't want to upset this young female too much. Oh, here we go. He's coming back around again. Come on a little bit so we can get you. He's just started just behind the little greenery that you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. You can sort of see his movement as he moves around. I think he's a bit bored. No one wants to play with him. He's got a little bit of energy. He doesn't want to go to bed. And now he's gone again. Kim has asked a question. She's asked, she said she can see that the ground is quite sandy. Is it difficult for the elephants to dig? Well, where this female elephant is digging now, as you're seeing, it's a little bit harder. If you look just towards her back feet, you can see there's a little bit more of a sandy region. But you must remember, in the sandy soils, you don't necessarily get as much vegetation growing. So she's just sort of digging just on the outskirts where the soil seems to be a little bit better. It looks like it's got a bit of clay in it. I could be wrong. And yeah, she's found some plant. I can't even tell you what it is that she's digging up. Maybe some, I don't know, bulbs, and there's all sorts of roots. But they've obviously munched the surface already. So yeah, no. That's it's not too hard for them, and if it does get a bit tough, they're armed with those wonderful tusks, which are so hard that they can almost, dig on through. It might take them a bit longer, but eventually they'll get there. Wonder where that little chap has gone. Can't see him anymore. I was hoping to get you a little glimpse of him, but sometimes... Oh, look at that scratch. Here we go. Elephant yoga for you. That was almost a downward facing elephant with a combination of a boogie. So maybe she's got a dance rehearsal a bit later that she's practicing for. She's put, I'm not sure. We don't know what the elephants do at night. Richard, are there any big tuskers in South Africa, or are they confined to East Africa? Actually, there are some massive big bulls in this area, especially in the Kruger National Park. There was once a few elephants that went by the name of the Magnificent Seven, which should ring a bell and sort of indicate that they must have been quite large. So yes, they were massive elephant bulls. If I'm not mistaken, there was one where its tusks almost weighed about 50 kilograms. Unfortunately, some of these elephants, either they died of natural causes or unfortunately they were poached. And I believe in the northern sectors of the greater Kruger area, they've believed to have found some of these elephants that have this Magnificent Seven or this woolly mammoth genetic. It's okay, girl. I'm just going to give these Ellies a little bit of space in case they want to come through here. Oh, and we've got our friend come running through. Hang on, ladies. We're just going to give you room so you can come here. But I think that female, who's the mother of this calf, has come through and quite liked what this younger female is munching on. But I hope that answered your question. So yes, there are some beautiful big tuskers left in Africa, but unfortunately I think they've realized that they need to stay hidden because poaching does still exist in this area. I haven't been too fortunate to see any huge tuskers. I did see one or two up in Zambia, but if you look hard enough and you spend enough time in the bush, you will be lucky enough to see them. Here's my little one. Hello. Oh, copying mum. Oh, they've settled down again. It's important with elephants. They're really graceful, gentle giants, but you've got to give them a bit of space. So if they show any signs of them being a little bit agitated, move back a little bit, then switch off. And as you can see, they've settled down quite nicely. They're all feeding now. And if an elephant is eating, it surely can't be an unhappy elephant. Look at that little one reaching up. Now, you see, that's going to be a difficult one to feed on. If you haven't got a very well-trained trunk, you might get a little prick here and there. Oh, we're having a dust bath now. We're going to have a quick look at this female having a dust bath. And then we're going to actually, unfortunately, have to say goodbye to the elephant soon. Just because it's getting a little bit dark, but this is too good of an opportunity not to watch an elephant have a dust bath. And we got the other girl coming back around again, just doing circles, just coming back, making sure haven't missed anything. Come on, give us a nice big cloud of dust. Maybe what will happen, they'll do a big cloud of dust and then they'll disappear. It'll be like a magic act. But one can only be hopeful. Oh, I'm going to dig right here. Little one coming through again, not moving too far from mom, just staying by. But it's important to have a good interaction with these younger elephants so that they learn not to be too scared of us and become relaxed with us. So I'm very happy with what we've done. I think this little one has probably learned a lot from today while watching the behavior of the other elephants by mom and older sister by the looks of it. So let's head back to Brent and see what he's up to. Maybe he's got a nice sunset. I'm not sure.
Jean and I have been discussing where we're going to place trail cameras. We know we've got one site, but now trying to think of another site. So, Jean, if you see anywhere that looks likely, maybe that big jackalberry tree on Gari Cut Line. So many decisions. I was just making sure they're all working and batteries are in. It's going to be exciting to see what we catch during the evenings. Trying to think. I'm really excited to get some sort of little movies of the nocturnal creatures like civets and genets, hopefully, maybe even serval or caracal, and of course leopard, lion, hopefully not too many hyena near the camera traps, even though they have got a steel case. Hyenas are not good news for camera traps. Yes, that's true. Curious ones that I'm not worried about. Elephants I am, but normally I'll just put some elephant dung on them. It generally does the job. Another trick is you spray mosquito repellent on it. They don't like that, so they tend to leave them alone. I did have a honey badger attack one of my camera traps once. Unfortunately, that camera trap got attacked by the honey badger, and the next day got eaten into 1,000 pieces by a hyena. And the hyena even managed to, unfortunately, bite through the card, so there wasn't even great footage of the hyena chewing it. Now, we can be quite clever where we put them. We can put it in an area, although elephants do wander everywhere. You want to avoid sort of big elephant paths that are really regularly used by the elephants. So there's that big jackalberry. I want to see if that one's fruiting. It's going to be a good spot. Hi, Jamie. Jamie's wondering what we might see on the camera traps that are rare to see on drive. Well, it's a lot of the little nocturnal stuff. So serval, possibly civet, almost definitely, honey badger, genet. You never know what you're going to catch. Who knows? We might even catch a sable. So unfortunately, that one sable that arrived at Djuma a while ago, and that used to be seen in coral quite frequently, wandered a little bit further to the south into Mala Mala, and unfortunately got eaten by lions. So he was the only sable bull I know of. I've seen them in the Manileti, not too far from the Djuma boundary. So there's a possibility, especially now that it's so dry, that we could get a few more of those interesting creatures coming down. Let's go have a look around here, see if there's a good spot to put one up. Let's see if it's got fruit first. Does it look like it's fruiting to you, Jean? It doesn't look like it's fruiting to me. Nope. Oh, I've got a good idea. I definitely know where I'm going to put one. Maybe I'll put one in the DRC so we can see the evening hyena visits. That could be quite fun. And the bushback. Shh! Don't tell Brian about the bushback. I don't. You might have heard that. Shh! Don't tell Brian about the. I think we should call the bushback. Shh! Don't tell Brian. So Brian likes to consider himself a gardener, and he planted a bunch of sunflowers outside his room, and the bushbuck came and literally took them from about this high to this high, and all the one flower that had flowered while he was on leave has also been munched. Brian's poor garden. Now, a lot of you probably, and I have been asked before, wonder why we don't have our own vegetable garden out here. And there's a very good reason. It would get eaten, not only by bushbuck or porcupine, are great munchers of vegetable gardens. That's another creature we might catch on the camera traps. Hello, impalalas. Aren't you all looking very sprightly? Lovely big herd of impala. Off you scamper. And there we go. Big herd, probably about 30 or 40 of them. Just taking a quick check, see if anything is coming down to Juma to have a drink. Now, Romy's wondering how high we mount the camera traps, because how are the hyenas supposed to get to it if it's high in the tree? See, the problem with that, Romy, is you miss out on a lot of the little creatures that walk around, like genets and civets. So that's why I've had these steel cases made, so I can put the camera trap in it. Oh, sorry, Inyala. Off you scamper. So we can put the camera trap in it. So it's probably about 1 mil steel. And I mean, if a hyena really wanted to, it could probably crush this. But I'm going for the sort of it's too much of an effort, so I'd rather not. Exciting. We'll see how it works. Now, I've lost camera traps to many different animals in my years in the bush, and when I was working in the rainforest in Gabon, we actually had about 60 camera traps that we used to use for great ape movement. So, like, to try to figure out where the chimpanzees and the gorillas were, as well as all the other creatures. And we actually lost a few camera traps to chimpanzees. They stole them and walked off with them. We actually found one, like, 4 months later, randomly in the middle of the forest. Oh, this is the bumpiest section of the road on Juma. Okay, we're off. No, not yet. Now we're off. The elephants during the last rains created those bumps. They had a big party in the road and made it very, very bumpy. And the one nice thing is as well, I think once we know where a hyena den comes back with a steel case, we're going to able to put it into a hyena den, and that would be absolutely fascinating to watch the behavior while no one's there. Okay, so we're on our way around towards the little pan next to Gallagher Camp, and because there's water there, I'm thinking we're going to get a lot of traffic of different animals. Okay, here we go. Now I'm right near the spot. Now I just got to figure out what tree I'm going to put it on. Always make sure there's nothing at the pan. Let's see what tracks are around. See anything up there, Jandre? Okay. Nope. So here's this big animal path. So what I want to do is I'm going to put the trap just off to the side here. And anything that's going to be walking down towards the pan or down this major thoroughway here, and I'm going to choose a tree that elephants don't like to eat. It's probably quite a sensible thing to do as well. So I think we're going to put this one up here, and there you go. Okay. Oopsie. Oh, sorry about that. That was my mic fell. Sorry, Jandre. I must have given you a very loud noise in your ear. I apologize. Just put it back. Okay, so now the reason we want to set it low is to try and catch some of those little critters. Okay, am I attached? No, I'm not pulling anything, breaking anything. So let's just have a look. I think I'm probably going to set it to you too, elephant. Some Ellie's making a noise over there. I think that's a good spot. What do you think, Chandra? Because it's going to catch both paths. Okay, so let's open it up. Have you got a lens cloth there, Chandra? Let me just give it a quick dust on the lens. Make sure we don't have specks in the way. Thank you very much. Okay, so the first picture and movie is going to be of us, because I've got to turn it on to put it in the box, and unfortunately that means we are going to have a few pictures of us. That's not too bad. Okay, pop it there. How's that look, Chandra? Straightish? Oh, I'm making a hash of this. Let's get, there we go. Let's get the lock through there. Okay, I'll just get it a little bit lower. Use the rope to just, whoopsie. There's a nice video of my knee at the moment. Oops, I'll fix that now. And that should be okay. Now you don't want to leave any strap or anything hanging loose, because that's just something for a hyena to pull on. You want to try and make sure there's almost nothing visible. Just tuck that in there. Okay. And often a useful thing is just a stick to put behind. Let's make it straight. There we go. So it's going to be very exciting to see what we're able to catch on that camera trap. I'm hoping for something really interesting. Oh, buffalo. Coming to have a drink at the pan. Hello, old boys. Okay. Good thing I got my camera trapping done before they arrived. So I think our first stars of the camera trap are going to be some old buffalo bulls. Now, where to put the next one is the question. So I quite like that position. It's getting multiple animal paths converging, and it's in a tree elephants don't like to eat. So while we switch on our night lights and see what else is around and get our spotlight ready and hopefully find our friendly bush babies, let's go see how Tayla's faring.
We've just stumbled across this beautiful kudu bull who was a bit skittish a few minutes ago, but he's settled down quite nicely now, and he's munching away, having dinner, or third or fourth dinner. I'm sure he's going to carry on munching away. They do quite a bit of feeding in the evening, surprise, surprise. They don't necessarily sit down and sleep like we as humans would or monkeys do when the sun goes down. So let's see if he comes back up towards us. Maybe he pops out on the road and gives us a beautiful silhouette. Let's see. Just taking his time. Here he comes. Keep your eyes open. There he is. Look at that. What a beautiful boy. There's so much power in those shoulders. Look at that neck and that beautiful sunset in the distance. What a lovely set of horns on him as well. You can get quite big, their horns. An average length is about 1.2 meters. Sorry, my conversions are pretty terrible into feet. But he's now moving off out of view. And we're going to bring the spotlight out, which I think is a good idea. I think we're going to leave this kudu now as he moves on off. We've sort of lost visual of him. We don't want to pressure him too much. So we're sort of just bumbling along now. We haven't picked up any tracks of anything. We did see some old lion tracks earlier, but I think those were the ones that they located, that Birmingham male that Jamie was talking about this morning. So just a reminder for you as well, any of you that are new watching us for the first time, we've got this wonderful spotlight and our vehicle is lovely and kitted out with all sorts of lights. But bumpy, please don't stress if you ever do go on safari and your ranger, as the sun goes down, sort of skims over the top of a big group of eyes. We try not to shine on any of the animals that are not nocturnal. So nocturnal means animals that are more active at night, and then of course something like that kudu is a diurnal species. So that means that sorry. GPS says right. I almost had to do a U-turn. Sorry. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to be looking for some special creatures that come out at night. So anything from an owl, that would be quite nice if it was one perched up on this dead tree over here. Or we're looking for things like bush babies, which I believe Brent is always on the lookout for. And honey badgers, which maybe we get lucky and catch on one of those camera traps. Jennets, civets, white-tailed mongoose, which are always good to see. Any of those little critters, and I'm sure there'll be the odd nightjar in the road that I'll have to try and avoid. So the reason why we don't shine the light directly into the animal's eyes, and especially that are diurnal animals' eyes, is because as the sun disappears, the animal's eyes has to start adjusting to this darker light. And you know, at twilight, it's very, very difficult to see for us as humans. And your mind sort of plays tricks on you. Well, this is a very similar case with the animals. So it's important to not do that. Otherwise, if you do shine it in their eyes for too long, it's okay if you do a little quick glimpse just to make sure that it's not a leopard and maybe it's a common duiker pretending to be a leopard. That happens often. So if you shine it for too long, so I'm losing my trail of thought here, it can take sometimes, in some cases, up to 45 minutes for their eyes to be able to readjust to the dark light. So taking a long time for that vitamin A to start reproducing in their eyes. Like little common duiker over there, which we're not going to shine on. So just always keep that in mind. It's not because we don't want you to see the animals, it's just we can see them during the day. And we'd prefer to not blind them and not give them the opportunity to escape from something like a leopard or a lion. So we're looking for a leopard. That would be nice too. We've been hot on the heels for 2 game drives now with a few tracks, but nothing really has prevailed. But maybe we get lucky tonight. I think I've got a bit of Irish in me somewhere along the lines, so maybe that can pull through for us this evening. You just do a little scan. It's always good to also take it easy at night, because if you race around, you are going to miss things. So we'll just do a slow little drive. That's quite nice. It's not too cool tonight here. I'm not sure what the weather's doing in the rest of the world, but it's quite pleasant. I've just got a little green jersey on, and it's really lovely and fresh. No, not really too much wind, just a slight breeze, which is quite nice. Talking about trackers earlier, this is one thing I haven't done for a long time, use a spotlight myself. My wonderful tracker usually shines away from me, so you'll see me swapping hands occasionally, just I don't have the muscles. to do it anymore. I'm going to have to pick up a few weights. So we have a question. If I can, sorry, I didn't get the name there. FC, if you can just give me the name again. Curious One. Oh, I like the name. Very I want to know who you are now. I'm the Curious One. Anyway, sorry. So you've asked, speaking about muscles, can I change a tire on my own? Well, when I first started guiding in the Eastern Cape, we weren't blessed to have trackers. I used to do it all by myself. Carry the big heavy cooler box, anything, wash the vehicle, do it all. And one of the things we had to do was change a tire. Now, fortunately, there's these, they're wonderful, but they're also not so wonderful devices called high lift jacks. And we as females have to use our body weight in order to use them correctly. And they can be quite dangerous if they're not used. So it takes quite a bit of practice. But yes, I can. You have to learn a technique that sort of suits you. Into how to pick the tire up and put it back into the vehicle. But you always have a strapping young man on your vehicle that's willing to help and make us not do too much hard work. But it's quite nice to show the boys that the girls can change tires too. So yes, Curious One. And I'm very, like I said, you've intrigued me as to who this mysterious person is. Hello, Vicky. So you've asked, what do I think about the Safari Live concept? Well, as a young girl, something that I really, 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 really loved was watching all these wonderful wildlife documentaries. And I think this sort of project that's going on over here, the show, is an incredible way to touch people from all over the world. Unfortunately, not everybody is able to afford a safari. It's quite a costly process. So in order for people to be able to sit back at home and every afternoon and every morning sit and do a game drive, that's amazing. We've got, sorry you guys, I'm just going to shine away. We've got a few elephants, and the elephants don't like the light too much. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I wouldn't be here, I think, if I didn't agree with the concept. I think it's great what they're doing. They're also so involved in community projects, which is really amazing. Sorry, girl, I didn't mean to blind you. So it's not just what you're seeing, what we're doing on the ground. There's a lot of behind the scenes work with the community projects, giving back, which is also really great. So I love it. I think it's fantastic. So unfortunately, everybody, it's come to that time of the day where we have to say goodbye. So I just want to say thank you once again for all your support today. The butterflies have finally started to settle just as the drive's about to end. But I'm going to head on home, and remember to catch us tomorrow morning. And I hope to see you out there, and I hope to see you guys soon. So have a great night, and thank you for tuning in. I think Brent wants to say a little goodbye, so I'll see you guys maybe in the future. We'll see. Have a good one.
So we've hit a bit of a traffic jam in the dark here, and it's the half-eared Ellie, and she's just walking past us. Oh, hello, little monster. Here we go. Hello. Yes, you're very, very naughty. Behave yourself. Off you go. So I really like this female who's only got a half ear. We're not going to stick with them because it is after dark, and sometimes Ellies are not the biggest fans of spotlights. Now, what I did here was a very upset water thickening. So what I'm hoping is there's a civet or white-tailed mongoose down here, and that's why I was responding to those alarm calls. And if they sounded, thickening sounds a little bit calmer now. Oh, lots of Ellies all over the show. There's that thickening calling. So come on, maybe a genet, maybe a honey badger. You never know. Maybe a karula. It's not sounding as upset as it was a little while ago. Hi, Tasha Michelle. Tasha is wondering, how long am I going to leave the cameras up before checking them? Well, Tasha, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't have great patience, so I'll probably check it every day. But I'll leave the camera there. What I'll do is I'll take a little. I think I've got something that I'll be able to. I'm trying to think if I've got one. Otherwise, I must get one. A little card reader for my iPad. We pop the card in, we can see immediately while on drive what was there the night before. So whatever scared those thick knees has done a disappearing act. And it has been a wonderful, wonderful evening. So excited I got to see the Sticks Cubs. Definitely worth the long haul down to Cheetah Plains. What was that? I would say bushbuck, so we're not going to shine on it. Maybe we'll find a little owl. Hi, Valeria, and I know lots of you can't wait to see footage from Rwanda. So it is with our editor, Alan. So he has prioritized that. So I'm not sure on the exact time frame, but you will get to see some footage relatively soon. I'll try to find out for everyone. You see something? Oh, it's scrub here. Oh, sorry. Hello, little scrub hair. Off the little scrub hair goes. Come on, let's find something before the end of the safari. Chandra, what are we going to find? A bat. That would be a good one to find. Don't know how I could spotlight the bat. That'd be quite difficult, spotlighting a bat. No bush babies. My favorite bush baby spots let me down. Maybe they went the other way this evening. So I think we're going to put the other camera trap up. Either at the DRC or outside Inga's to see what comes to visit us in the dark. That could be quite fun, see what comes into camp. And hopefully we catch some little nocturnal critters frolicking about. Now, it's been wonderful having you. It's about to be the end of the sunset safari. And tomorrow morning we'll be out on the sunrise safari. And we have another interviewee, Ryan, who will be taking his drive tomorrow morning. So be nice, like I know you all will be. But from Jean-Dre, myself, and the rest of the crew, it's been absolutely amazing. And bonne nuit till tomorrow. To stop. And here we go. Hello, zebra.